Schoology users, welcome back to week 4, checking for student understanding on our Zero to Hero Schoology course, day 22, how do I use mastery features? So, what do you need? Well, in this case, you need a little bit of extra. So in order to really use this feature, you're going to need student data that's already been linked to something. Lots of student data, really, to see something interesting. We're going to go through it without much, but so you know, you're going to need some assessment data, some assignment data, anything like that. Just quite a bit of different on the same standard. So, let's get started. Hey there, Schoology users. Welcome back. Today we're talking mastery features. So if you take a look here, you'll see I'm sitting at my grade book, which we're going to be talking more in detail about a little bit later. But what I want you to see here is that I have some grades with some assignments with some grades in. Now there's a very specific thing that I have to do with each assignment in order to use mastery features. When I create the assignment itself, I have to make sure I tag a standard. Or in my case, I tag some math practices, but you can tag any standard that you like. All you're going to do is when you create the assignment down at the bottom, it says learning objectives, you're going to pick that. Now, if you have a rubric, it's going to do one for every single standard you tag on that rubric. So if you're trying to use mastery-based grading or standards-based grading, this is what you want to do. So as you can see, I tagged a math practice here for this one. On an assessment, it's going to tag every question. So any question that you put point value on, you will tag the standard for it so that you can see it. Now, once you've gone through and you have a bunch of assessments or assignments in general, that you have gone through and you have linked, on the left-hand side here, underneath your profile picture, you're going to see a thing that says Mastery. This is only available in enterprise accounts. So you'll see I'm not in my free account right now. This is actually my sandbox for the course I'm teaching this year. So when I click Mastery, you will see all the people in your course, and you will see the learning objectives as well as student achievement. So what you can see here is that, for example, Ms. H has an 87.5% mastery on the math practice number 3. And you can set individual things for this. So obviously you can see the things across the top. You can see the student average for your whole class. If I click learning objectives, now it tells me what were the learning objectives we had and what are the assignments that go with it. So as you can see, I only had 3. When you click settings, you can see there's 3 things. One, you can export things. Obvious, just click it, it'll export. For example, if I click export summary, here it is as a CSV. The other thing I can do is mastery settings, and I can change these achievement levels to what I want. So if I want meet expectations to be at least a 70%, exceeds expectation to be at least a 90, and the mastery is to meet exceed expectations at least one time. So that means that when they're meeting expectations, they're getting at least a 70, they're doing that at least once. Now, when I'm going through and I'm grading, I have some options, and I'm just going to hover over this question mark so you can see what happens. It tells me it's going to determine how they're going to achieve that grade. So there's a highest score, which obviously is, they're going to take the top score. Average, which is a straight average, add them all up and divide by however many there were. And decaying average. And what that means is that as you have more and more items, the more recent, so if someone improves, that's going to weigh more versus their very first time. So for example, if I had 5 assignments and each time the most recent observation was worth 75%, okay? The first time, obviously, it's 100% because, it's the first one. But then when I have a second assignment, the first assignment is worth 25% of the grade, and the second assignment is worth 75% of the grade. Now, when I continue, I am up to assignment number 3, The first assignment is 12.5% of the grade. The second assignment is 12.5% of the grade, and the third assignment is 75% of the grade. So as you can see, as I'm going up, that 25% is getting smaller and smaller, and the more recent assignment is worth more. That's an oversimplified explanation of how that's calculated. If you really want to know, you can definitely find out, probably from a math teacher in your school, but just know that it means that more weight is put on the most recent work and less weight is put on the older work. Then a mastery scale, you can either use letter grades or numeric. And that's really it. So as you can see here, we have my math practices. If I go back to student achievement, and I just want to see what does the grade change to when we mess with that. So we're going to do that real quick. As you can see, I can click here and I can see mastery achieved. Obviously, when it's not achieved, I can actually have different colors here. So it's going to be yellow and red. But yeah, it's a really cool tool. I don't use it that often just because high school is high school. But if I was in a lower level, I feel like this would be extremely beneficial for my students to know where they're at. So what we're going to do real quick is I want you to look at Ms. H's 87.5 here and watch what happens when I change these mastery settings. So I'm going to take the most recent observation and make it worth 10%. All right, so it went from has to be between 50 and 99. So we're going to make it 50. All right, save the changes. And that 87.5 went down to an 85. Because on the second assignment, I did better. I got a higher grade. Now, if I do this again and we change it to a 99, watch what happens to the grade. So we make it a 99, so the most recent has the biggest impact on the grade. You'll see it goes up to an 89.9. And that's because I got a 90% on that assignment. And what you can do is you can click here and you can see I have an 80% and a 90%. And so it is taking that 90% and it's worth more points. So this is a really cool way to implement mastery-based grading and implement mastery-based courses. I really like it, especially if you are doing standards-based grading, because it does the work for you. And it's really beneficial for seeing, oh, most of my students understand this standard, but they don't understand this one. And especially in math, that can really help when you're planning your next unit. So I hope this helps. I hope you enjoy and have a great school year. I know mine just started this week and I am tired. So make sure you take care of yourselves. Take a day off. Breathe, relax. It's going to be all good. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.